Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TEDxRFT. To my right is Mr. Kory Mathewson.
To my left, Mr. Julian Faid.
We will be. Oh, thank you. No, don't stop yourself.
No, stop. No, please. Leave it.
We present improvised TED Talks. I'm sure many of you have seen TED Talks before. For those of you that maybe have not, here's a brief recap of what some of the TED Talks are like. The big idea, the tech demo, the performance, all those exist. You've probably seen them online.
But we like to present something a little bit new. It's the improvised talk.
Yeah.
Now, what we've done is made slides for each other.
We've never seen those slides. That is our promise to you.
Now, TED has a bunch of amazing talks on their website.
If you go online, you're definitely going to be inspired by a lot of these types of talks. But you might be wondering, Julian, Kory, what do those talks have that your talks do not? And that would be a great question. The answer is years of research. They also have months of preparation, and often the presenters also have post-secondary educations. We've done away with all those needless things.
Yeah. And jumped right into the meat of it.
Exactly. In the past, we have had some topics from the audience, things like the power of no, the little you inside you,
and looking forward to looking back, which was a classic.
A classic. But tonight we need topics from you. So I've gone ahead and presented Kory with slide decks that he's never seen. Go ahead. Cover your ears, and I'll get your topic. You can head over there and just, that's perfect. Great. I think Kory would be the first to admit that he's not the most aesthetically pleasing guy. No, it's not what I meant to say. Aesthetically minded individual. So what I tried to do was put together a talk to do something with design. So I'm hoping you guys could maybe come up with a couple of things that maybe he's an expert in designing. Is there anything you could think of? I will be a little picky, but feel free to shout some things out. Okay, well, I really like less is more. I really want to add like simplicity somewhere in there. I really like that aspect. I also heard bonsai trees and the perfect haircut, which I also really like. Is there any other ones that you might be inspired by? What's that one? Domino collages? Is that made with the game dominoes or boxes of Domino's pizza? Okay. Yeah, which one? I think I really like the haircut one so far. Anything else? Roller coasters. Okay. You know what? Yeah. How about something to the effect of like, less is more. The design of roller coasters. Is that? I'm going to write that down just so he has it. More. Thank you. That's great, guys. That's great. The design of that's really funny. I hope he thinks so. Okay, got that. Okay, that's great. I'll rip that out just so he doesn't see it. Give that to him. This paper's too strong for me. Okay. That's great. We're good.
Awesome. All right. So usually Julia takes a lot longer to get a suggestion than I do. So let's just take some time and he can really hammer at his eardrums. That's great. It really hurts after a while. Okay, so wonderful. I've made Julian slides. He's never seen them before. It is a very transformational talk that I created, something that's sort of personal and important. So what I'm hoping for is like a personal mantra, like a moving forward kind of mantra. Is there something, just on the count of three, yell something out. 1, 2, 3. The animal within you, okay. Something tomorrow, what was it tomorrow? I see me from tomorrow. That's great. That's awesome. I'm going to write that down. That's going to be good. Only so he thinks that we're doing something real. Could you just yell out your name on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. That's great. Right on. Okay. All right. 1 second. Okay. I've got that. That's going to be wonderful. Oh, man. I'm so excited for this. Let's just take another second. I'm really going to milk this time. Okay, let's get into this.
Oh, we're good now?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Obviously, Kory and I have been doing this a little while now, and we have sort of developed a bit of a tradition, but we're hoping you could join us in. If you guys could all just take a deep breath in, and then lower your expectations. That would be really great. If the bar is low enough, we will clear it. Keep it low.
That's wonderful. Julian, you want to take a seat over there, and then I'll introduce you.
Sure, great.
Ladies and gentlemen, and other gender-neutral people that don't like to associate with the names ladies and gentlemen. Individuals of the TED audience, I'm very excited to be presenting one of the most amazing presenters this city has. A true national treasure. Someone who's come so far. If you knew what he was in his childhood, you would understand the true growth that this man has experienced. Presenting a talk entitled, I See Me from Tomorrow. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Julian Faid.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very excited to be here, obviously. I have come a long, long way. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I now see myself from tomorrow and how you might also be able to see yourself from tomorrow. I'm going to start things off just real easy, real fresh. Sometimes life gets really tough, and you just have to picture a babbling brook. Are you doing that? If you are having trouble, just feel free to look at this slide, because it should also accomplish the same thing. But life's not always as simple as just closing one's eyes and picturing a babbling brook. No, sometimes you have to understand what makes you great. You might be saying to yourself, but Julian, there are 7.5 billion people on the world. What makes me so special? And that would be a great question. And a question that all of us have asked ourselves time in and time out. Monday mornings, for sure. Saturday mornings, definitely. You might feel like you're not special at all, but I'm here to tell you that you are. And you simply have to ask yourself, who am I amongst 7.5 billion people? I want to present to you 30 years of Julian. Now, I'm 32 years old, so there will be 2 years just missing, which I can only assume are very early years. But I think this will help illuminate why I'm able to see myself from tomorrow now. That was me in 1985, 2 years old and already digging into the bone marrow of life. I had not a care in the world, for I would sink my teeth into anything I could get my hands on. I went through a bit of a phase in 91. But by 1998, I had really dedicated myself to a faith that was foreign to my entire family. But to me, Judaism had some questions and some answers that I didn't get from anything else. I didn't find them in Christianity. I didn't find them in Hinduism. I didn't find them in video games or Maxim magazines, if my reference to 1998 is correct. I found them in the Jewish faith. I may have deviated away from the Jewish faith. Not 5 years later, experimenting with different hairstyles, weird friends. But I think you'll see that I really am now flying straight. I'm on major syndicated television. I'm a very big deal. And if you can track the trajectory of where I came from, you'll see it all comes back to really sinking your teeth into what life gives you. What does life present you? Bite it immediately. That's my motto. By 2011, I had hit the booze pretty hard. Fireball, specifically. Sweet, sweet cinnamon-flavored whiskey with just a touch of antifreeze. And I realized that I had gone off the tracks, off the rails, if you will. But finally, I really got back to, there it is. To where I am from, I guess, 2 years ago. Not a care in the world, because I truly understood what was inside me, beyond the fireball. There was a person inside just screaming to come out. So in the last 2 years, I've really jumped ahead in a lot of ways. I have done this. That's a true fact. Now, you might be aware that it was the second best view, so you might be saying, well, that's not that impressive. But I'll have you know that I defeated the end of the world. Ain't got shit on me. But I was still bested by the majestic river valley. And you know what? At first, I was angry. I stormed into the View Weekly offices and began flipping tables, destroying computers, and hurting Paul Blenov. But I soon realized that second place is okay. Because out of 7.5 billion people, I was the second best view in Edmonton. And you know what? That's pretty good. Since that point, an avalanche of things has happened to me. And I feel like I'm just at the base camp of my life. And this mountain is what everything that will come after it. And I'm ready to conquer that. I'm ready to climb, whether I am alone or whether I am with a Sherpa. I will summit this mountain the fastest I possibly can. I don't know yet. And that is also okay. Because looking at myself from tomorrow, I know that today's me doesn't care what yesterday's you thought. Because I have a belief in myself. I'm loyal to a fault. I also like magic. And I'm okay with being alone. And therefore, this is my spirit animal. It's important to know that you can change as a person. You are not stuck in the rut that you were put in when you were first born. You can be something even more. You can be a stump, or you can be a speed bump, or if you allow yourself, you can be a Trump. I use Donald Trump here to illustrate just how crazy this world can be. A man who lost all of his money several times, is incredibly unattractive, is blatantly racist, somehow is potentially going to be the leader of the free world. Now, if that scares you, you're not alone. But to comfort you and bring you back to earth, I want to show you this. On your far left was the world under Bill Clinton. We went through some dark periods as the Bush years took over. We began to see us, Canada, and therefore the United States, really come out of its cocoon and become a beautiful butterfly, a multicultural butterfly. But with Donald Trump potentially in office, this is what could happen. That, of course, is the French word for changing into death. But it's important even now to be able to understand the things that make you important and the things that make you happy and really begin to sow those seeds with the water of life. And by that, I, of course, mean getting rid of negativity. I'm able to look back at the negative things I said about myself from tomorrow, and it doesn't make me happy. I used to say things like, I'm too fat, or I wear weird clothing, or I dance like an alien possessed by the devil. But I now know those things, as much sense as they made at the time, are completely useless for me now. Because now I say to myself, awaken the giant within. Say that with me. Awaken the giant within. Doesn't that feel good? Now for me, my giant is a jolly green one, but your giant might be a strong feminist. Or Andre. Whatever the giant inside you manifests itself as, awaken it. Allow it to take over your life, because it will crush the demons that have been holding you down. Let it get angry. I believe I've found the real me. And I was just a Nicolas Cage before. Just a Nicolas Cage, just a Nicolas stuck in a cage. And it was despite all my rage, frankly, that I was stuck in that cage. But I realized that the real me is right here. Because I feel like I've been able to brine myself in the good things in life and come out as something even better. What I like to call Pickles Cage. You might think, Julian, what if I mess up? What if tomorrow I'm unable to see myself yesterday? And that may very well happen. But I'm here to tell you something that I've found through years of research. By myself, the chances of me messing up are slim. If no one's around to see it, does it really happen? But if everyone's watching, 90 out of 90, I will definitely make a mistake. So while you're going through this transformation, this metamorphosis, lock yourself away for a while and feel okay with yourself. Feel okay with just being alone. You don't have to Netflix and chill. You can just Netflix. Which brings me back to this mountain. You might be wondering, why go back to the mountain? Aren't you already at the top? That answer really speaks for itself. So I want you to remember that balance is an important thing in life. I want you to know that accepting fate is okay, because that is the first step to moving on from it. Make sure you listen. And no matter what age you are, you can always listen harder. And really love what's going on around you. Get touchy-feely with things. Bite into life. Use your hands at any moment you possibly can, with consent, your body, your choice. And finally, strength. This is a friend of mine, someone you may know, a young Kory Mathewson. He has the most strength that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I want to thank you for bringing me up here on stage, because without you, none of this would have been possible. Again. Sorry, it's very serious for me, and things are getting choked up. It takes balance, acceptance, listening, love, and strength. But it also takes balls. And if you were unable to see that the first time, then maybe you do have a little bit of work to do. Tomorrow you should look back at yourself today and say, you know what, yesterday? Tomorrow's me is going to be even better than the current me is today was yesterday. So I say to you, pose any way you want to. I say to you, just grow any weird facial hair you might want to grow, because you are your own person. And you can be whoever you want to be, with balance, acceptance, listening, love, and strength. You can be anyone you want to be today, tomorrow. And it's not too late to make you great. Thank you very much.
Whoa. Very good. Very nice.
Thank you.
Julian Faid, ladies and gentlemen. Nice.
That's great. That's great. Why don't you head over there?
All right.
Great. I am so excited to have a man who understands aesthetics like no one else. But not just aesthetics, fun. He understands it doesn't take much for fun to really take hold. So today I'm very excited to present on the topic, Less is More, the design of roller coasters. Is my friend and adrenaline junkie. Give it up for Mr. Kory Mathewson, everyone.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen of the TED audience, how's it going? Ah! Holy cow, what a mind bender we've been on so far. My God, I cannot ride this ride. I'm too high. Folks, what I'm here to talk to you about is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's the most amazing adventure you've ever seen before, the most amazing feeling you've ever been feeling. Folks, who here's had an orgasm? Just by round of applause. I know. All right, now imagine if you could have that with 30 people in a weird cabin. That's what a roller coaster's all about. And I've spent my life designing some of the most amazing coasters in the world, including this one. This is a free movement roller coaster in Australia. How it works is there's no cabins, there's no seatbelts. You just walk across this bridge any way you like. It's in Sydney. Some of the users of the roller coaster say, It's too complex. And you know what I say to them? Less is more. It's not about what you're designing the coaster to do. It's about what you are doing on the coaster. See here? This is a classic staircase. Or is it? Let me blow your mind. We go up. Am I wrong? It could go both ways, and that's what roller coasters are all about. Have you ever ridden a roller coaster backwards? I did one time. This was me after it. My body was literally taken apart. Piece by piece, I had to get put back together. And they missed the little part that inhibits my adrenaline, which is why I love to go on these roller coasters. Because that little part inside me that says, no, you're afraid, or no, it's too much, it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. And now? Every day is like I'm a newborn baby in a bathtub that's a little bit too full. See this? That's crossing the neckline. That's dangerous. And this is a bubble bath, mind you. But it's that experience that really makes life worth living. It doesn't take much. You don't need to have the most amazing mind-bending roller coasters to feel the fun. All you need is... All you need is a good imagination. You see these drawings? All animals. And this rocks big time. You know why? Because there's animals out there that want to make your life as fun as possible. One time, true story, I was in Jasper, I was attacked by an elk. It ran up to me like it was going to eat my friggin' brain. And you think I needed to pay for a ticket for that ride? No, I was just living my life. I was so scared I peed and shit at the same time. And that's a true story. But there's something sentimental about roller coasters. There's something that we get to experience with other people that we remember from our childhood. And it's this. It's that we are the masters of our own domain. We are the creators. We are the old Chinese men building life-size replicas of an entire town. This man calls himself Godzilla. Yeah! Yeah! Woo! And that's what I'm talking about, baby. Godzilla! What a rush! What a rush! Because this is what he loves to do. He doesn't need a roller coaster. He built this by his bare hands. And then he burned it all down. Because that's the kind of fun that he wants to have. He doesn't need other people to manufacture his fun. He designs it for himself. He imagines those 8 animals in his head. And there's going to be a quiz about what order those animals were in. We're all going to get it wrong, and that's going to be a crazy rush. But there's some balance. You can't just be rushing your whole life. You don't just have an endless supply of adrenaline that's not inhibited. I mean, I do because my parts were blown apart. But there's a balance. And that balance looks like this. This is a photo of me. This is that little bit inside of me that says, you can't trust yourself. It says, maybe one day you're going to push it over the line. Maybe you're going to jump off a bungee that's too high, or dive too deep on a weird free dive, or go off a roller coaster that has no ending. Like in Roller Coaster Tycoon. So many innocent souls. Who can you trust out there? Look to the person on your left and on your right and think, can I honestly trust this person? Is this someone that I would trust to build a roller coaster, manufacture it, engineer it? I'm hearing a lot of no's and no yeses. Some people are just murmuring because they don't want to be honest with themselves. Because sometimes less is more. You don't have to say it to make it really true. And who can you trust? I'll tell you. You can trust me. Trust me and know that everything that I'm telling you is 100% true, and that I've had an amazing adrenaline-filled life because I've designed it that way. My life is like a roller coaster, and I feel like I'm still on the uphill climb. But that means it's all downhill from here. Just strictly. Yeah. That means that it's all weird demons. When I go to bed at night, do I dream about normal things? No, I dream about these kind of creatures. Staring at me from beyond, saying, "Come with us to the places that are way too dangerous." They've designed a world that's past our expectations, that have way more danger than we could ever imagine. So maybe less is more. Maybe less is too much sometimes, and we don't need that danger. We don't want to go down that hill. All we want is 1 minute. All we want is 1 minute of pure adrenaline and nothing more. We don't want to know that after that 1 minute, maybe it could be crazy. We want to know that after 1 minute, it's done. We can go to the concession, get a popcorn. We could ride the ride again if we wanted. After that 1 minute, we want to know if the next 2 minutes will be all right. 120 seconds is not a lot of time for you to really think about what comes after. 180 seconds after you ride that ride, and your body is starting to come back to normality, your heart starts beating a little bit slower, your pupils start to constrict and avoid that dilation that they were pushing so hard. You start to lose the sweat that's trickled up on your hands. You start to not grit your teeth in that anxiety-ridden roller coaster grit. 4 minutes after you've all but forgotten the start of the ride, all you remember is the ending. You barely remember how it started and how it felt so good to be chasing up that hill. There's something to be said that the beginning of the ride, the anticipation, is more what you want. That we design it for the anticipation, and what we're actually living is something a little more than what we're living. We're living the anticipation of what we're living. Just let that sink in. Don't let it sink too deep, though, because there's more minutes. You want to live more minutes. You don't want to throw it all away for 4 minutes of fun. That's why we have to know that there's a finish line somewhere at the end and when we'll be done. We want to know that there's safety. So less is too much sometimes. There is sore minutes in our life. And those are the minutes when maybe we've pushed it a little too far. Maybe we went on a ride that was a little too big for us. And that's okay, because it gives us time to reflect. It lets us build those memories. Everything can't be the most amazing thing you've ever seen, or else you'd never remember what you saw. We have to make time for what's in here and here, our core. Because it's really what's in our core that feels. It's that ethereal, binding energy that we love, that butterfly in your stomach when you're just climbing to the apex of the roller coaster or going in for your first kiss. It's what you feel in your core. It's those minutes that we should anticipate and love and live out. But more than the core, there's chore minutes. There's moments when we have to give back to ourselves, our partners, our societies, our communities, and those are chore minutes. It's not all fun and crazy. It's not all adrenaline. Sometimes we have to buckle down and clean up our rooms. My mom's in the audience right now, and I just want to apologize that I don't like to clean my room, Mom. And if you saw it right now, you would probably be upset with how messy it is. And I'm sorry for that. I haven't been living my chore minutes. You accept my apology? Aw. That's good, because there's something that I think you should understand on this next slide. Your minutes. Whoa. Whoa. These are the minutes of your life that you'll remember. Not just you, but everyone in this audience. These are your minutes. These are the minutes that you're going to enjoy and remember. It doesn't have to be adrenaline-filled. Sometimes it could just be watching some guy talk too much about something he has no idea about. And you get to choose to do that because these are your minutes. Yeah. You're nuts. You are nuts. I tried. It's our brain telling us what's going to be fun versus our fight for what's fun. And sometimes our brain wins and it slows us down, and sometimes our fight wins. But we have to really consider what we're getting ourselves into. We can't just chase adrenaline, because less is more. Sometimes living the simple life is an easier way to do it. Sometimes living free and easy is what we want. Sometimes we just want to relax, sit down and have a nap, then wake up and read a book, then fall asleep reading the book. Sometimes we want to start our day with a nap. It's not sleeping in if you were up for a bit. Mom. Sometimes we're running against a brick wall. That's when we're pushing too hard for the thing we want to try to do. We're expecting too much out of the future, so we're pushing ourselves towards it, but there's something standing in between. On the other side, sometimes there's this, boredom, but inside we can feel that passion, that energy. I'd encourage any of you, if you want to stand up and dance right now, to do it. Okay, no one took the opportunity. I was surprised. I thought at least one person would. Rickshaw Dave, I was really hoping it would be you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about! See, sometimes that man just danced in public, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Sometimes we have to let that dance free. Sometimes we're chasing against it, and sometimes it's chasing against us. We need to cooperate and know that what's inside could be outside. What's outside could be inside. And I think that roller coasters are a good example of that. Roller coasters we see from a distance, and we know that there's a lot of fun to be had. But we chase towards it, we experience it, we anticipate it, then we do it, and we remember it. But what are we remembering? I think we're remembering this. It's a soccer ball. It's a soccer ball made out of bits and pieces that we've dropped into place. It's a fabrication of this roller coaster that we've constructed in our minds. What our memories are just that. They're just soccer balls in our brain, bouncing around in our minds with pieces that we've created. But a roller coaster is much more, especially if you design it right. A roller coaster can be lines and circles or magic. Thank you to the two people that clapped for that line. And the several more that clapped on that line. A roller coaster could be so much more than straight lines, jumps, ramps, dips and dives, loop-de-loops, tunnels, splashes, log rides. A roller coaster is what we want it to be. It could be anything our imagination desires. We could imagine those animals. We could have an animal roller coaster. You could ride an animal and call it a roller coaster. When that elk attacked me, did I know that? Did I think about that? No, I was shitting and pissing at the same time. But I could have jumped on its back and ridden it like a roller coaster into the future. And know that we have control of our own destinies. And know that sometimes we can't push it too far because less is more. And there's one thing I want to leave you with, something very important. It's that roller coasters, while fun and magical, imaginative and creative, roller coasters are just like talk. They're mostly bullshit. I mean, roller coasters are just something someone created to charge a bunch of money so that people would come to the small town. We have a big one that's indoors, but is it the biggest? Who knows? Maybe it was when I was 6 or 8 or 9, but it's all talk. Maybe I've gone on the tallest roller coaster. Was it the most scary? Surely not. I've made scarier ones in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Ones without endings. Ones that are on fire. Ones without maintenance men. But just know it's all talk. It's less is more in what we're exploring, ladies and gentlemen, because roller coasters are just that. They're fabric that we construct, that we pattern into a mosaic, that we creatively design to piece together. But it's all talk. Until you do it, until you really go on that roller coaster, you don't know what it's like. So if you're out there and you're sitting in this TED audience and you're thinking to yourself, there's a roller coaster I'd like to do. There's a roller coaster that I'm maybe not high enough to get on. Get higher. Maybe it's not a physical roller coaster, but it's something that you've been waiting to share with the person who's sitting next to you on your left or your right, someone that you maybe trust more now that you've gone through this talk with them. And let them know what that is. Know what that roller coaster is in your life. Know that it's a huge thing, it's magical, it's creative, but distill it down to what it really is, because less is more. And I think that roller coasters can really teach us that. The end.
Kory, Mathewson, everyone.
That was great.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to Improv and to TEDxRFT.
Thank you so much, audience.